So I thought about a clever opening line for this video for about 10 minutes. And then I scratched the whole idea of a script, so to speak, because I realized I couldn't come up with a line that reflected how genuinely impressed I am with this plugin from Tone Project. We are talking about the new Handy Amps Michelangelo equalizer. And we've seen all Tone Project's plugins on this channel: Unizoom, Kelvin, Basslane. And when I saw the release of Michelangelo, usually Rune get in touch with me. I didn't see anything. And funny story, he sent me an email and I missed it. And we finally got back in touch after like 10 days, probably more, from that first email. And here we are. If you're not familiar with the analog hardware unit emulated by this plugin, Handy Amps Michelangelo became an instant favorite and an instant modern classic for many engineers around the world, both mixing and mastering engineers, for a reason. Because of how musical and smooth this equalizer is, and how effortlessly, with a few knobs, was able to inject new life into the material. This one, I opened it, I played with it for 5 minutes. That's how long it took me. And I had to reply to Rune's email telling him like, dude, this thing is mental. But what's crazy is they didn't stop at emulating something that is already hard to emulate. Once they had that, they added so many other cool features and sounds and colors that I wish now there was a hardware version of this plugin. So sit tight, get ready to be blown away. Tone Project, Handy Amps Michelangelo equalizer. Let's go. Hello everyone, welcome back to MixBus TV. Hope you guys are having a great day. Before we start, please check the info box down below. In there you will find the link to Tone Project Michelangelo 2BQ, which for the entire month of November is gonna have an intro price of $169, 32% off. Regular price will start December 1st, so get in now. Also free plugins, special discounts, and a lot more. And if you haven't already, please go check out the new website, mixbustv.com. In there you will find all the available mix and mastering courses, start to finish, on so many different genres, including the latest 2 releases, Mixing Hip Hop and EDM 2023, soon to be released, Mixing Rock 2023. You don't want to miss that. On the website, you can also book mix consultation, private lesson, mixing, mastering, production, and a lot more. And if you want to up your mix and mastering skills, click the join button down here, become a MixBus TV member, access all the exclusive videos. And if you like the channel and the videos are helping you, please consider using the super thanks or grab some merch. Let's get to the video. First of all, Tone Project worked directly with Chris Henderson, maker of Handy Amps. This equalizer, first of all, is not just an equalizer. It's a full tube equalizer and harmonic generator, hence the red aggression knob first in line, but also you will see many other features expanded this concept in the plugin. This EQ has been built with musicality in mind and a right-brained workflow, so to speak. So it was meant to be a creative EQ, not an EQ in which you look at numbers, like for example this one, okay? Even though the Michelangelo was wildly used in mastering, it is a broad stroke color EQ where all the bands have heavy interaction with each other. So with the original design and with the GUI not expanded, so without the added features, you have this incredibly musical and color-rich, broad and smooth equalizer where you don't really look at what you're doing, you're just twisting knobs until it sounds good. Now, what Tone Project did, we opened the extra controls, is adding everything that plugins are great for, giving this thing extra control, dynamic EQ, 2 extra band for precise work, additional color and saturation, mid-side processing, transient versus body selection for the processing. Basically, they took everything that I love of the best equalizer out there and put it in one of the already best sounding EQ that was on the market. With that said, let's take a look at the GUI and the functions of this thing. With the basic GUI and the extra control hidden from left to right, we have the aggression knob, big red one. This is our harmonic generator. This is our saturation knob, and it sounds freaking awesome. One thing to say, the bands are so musical and well designed that I like to run this thing clean just as much as I like the tube saturation. Although you will hear is one of the most legit tube saturations out there, I love to run it clean just as much. And you have a calibration knob right below the aggression knob. Think of this almost as a bias from clean to hot. Next, we have the low band. Notice that the default is a 5, it's not a 0. A 0 you'll be cutting. Low shelf has two positions, 150 and 80. Then we have the mid band, flat and full. Again, these are just two different belts and two different behavior and interactions with the other two. Highs, smooth and sharp. Then we have an air band, which is really, really high. This thing is very smooth. Even if you push it up to 10, you will hear it. Then we have a trim, which can be manually adjusted, because when you increase the aggression, the overall level increases, although the peak level might actually diminish because the saturation, but the overall LUFS, RMS level, the perceived loudness is greater. So you can also decide to run auto gain and it will be automatically compensated. This is a great function. So let's give this a try before we even open the extra controls down here.
This is our goodbye, my love. This is last sunrise, my love. This is must die to us, love. This is trust I come by, love. I'm sick of this game. I'm sick, let me hate. Let me off the crazy train. I'm sick of your face, I'm sick of heartache. Goodbye, goodbye to the tears, goodbye.
All right, just this knob alone is absolutely mental. I don't think I've ever heard a plugin giving me such a legit, believable tube saturation like this one. And you saw me going kind of overboard right away to test the limits. If you pass norm and you run it towards hot, the saturation becomes too much for a full mix. You don't have only one unit like most people would have for the hardware, so you can use this on single tracks, vocals, drums, bass, and we're gonna try that. So you can push the aggression for special effects even on single tracks. And let me do another quick pass just with this one because I really like when it's subtle. So I like to put the calibration down and just push the aggression.
Goodbye to the tears, goodbye, goodbye to the fears. Good times last for a dime. Good times until our time. You know what you're doing, you know how you're moving. Days dark obscene.
How warm and rich becomes just with this one. Let's put the aggression back and let's hear the bands and their interaction.
This is our goodbye, my love. This is last sunrise, my love. This is must die to us, love. This is trust I come by, love. I'm sick of this game. I'm sick, let me hate. Let me off the crazy train. I'm sick of your face, I'm sick of heartache. Goodbye, goodbye to the tears. Goodbye, goodbye to the fears. Good times last for a dime. Good times until our time. You know what you're doing, you know how you're moving. Days dark, lipstick on those cherry blossom lips. You know what you're doing, you know how you're moving. Now I'm a shade of red, move on to the next.
So I think these few moves alone are enough to make clear why conceptually the Michelangelo is a different type of equalizer. I don't even feel like calling it an equalizer. I think this plugin, the unit itself, or this plugin probably even more, is an enhancer that uses partially equalization to achieve that result. You know, it's different. You don't think, oh, let's boost 300, let's cut 250, or let's boost 80. It's a very different approach to processing in general. Do another track really quick.
Living in false reality. Don't wake me up, I'm fine being asleep. No happy ending for me, but I could spin, I just aim. So don't need is to feed off you, you can feed off me. All I need is to let you go, please stay above me. All I need is to feed off you, you can feed off me. All I need is to let you go, please stay above me.
It just sounds so musical. I feel like I should just shut up and just move the knobs and have you hear it, guys. But two things. Top right, we have quality. Goes from low latency GUI and pristine, which is how I'm using it now, and also EQ scale. So we don't have a graphic like in a regular digital EQ, but these are my moves. This is the amount of EQ that I'm doing. Whether I'm cutting or boosting, that's gonna be the same. If I wanna scale down my moves, I just go below 100%. And if I wanna boost my curve, I go over 100%. Let's hear this really quick.
Go, please stay above me. All I need is to feed off you, you can feed off me. All I need is to let you go, please stay above me. You don't really wanna know deep beneath me, 'cause if you do, I'll ruin you, never to be seen.
Okay? The low end and the low mids and the color that this thing adds is, I don't even know if I have a piece of hardware that replicates like this type of color that is like really, really euphonic. All right, time to open the additional control panel, and here is where Tone Project just over-delivered and gave us something really special. We have an additional tube comp / saturation section. Now this, don't think of this as a compressor like attack and release and ratio. This is the natural compression happening with tube saturation. This control is also affected by the aggression knob, so everything in this plugin interact with each other, especially all the saturation functions. So this tube comp control goes from 0 to 400 is the amount of softening, natural softening that tube compression does. And then we have a fully variable tube blend going from triode to pentode and everything in between. Let's play with this a little bit. So let's push the aggression, leave it on norm. We have a more mellow type of saturation if we turn the tube blend towards the pentode, a little more aggressive if we turn it toward the triode. So this is a full harmonic generation section, this whole left column here, which is a color box in itself. You hear it when I bypass it without even touching the EQ, how much richer the material is. And then we have an interesting function here, the spread and the crosstalk. So the original unit was built on purpose to have a little bit of crosstalk and difference between left and right to purposely enhance the stereo field. On the plugin, you have the option of turning this spread to 0, so left and right channel will be affected identically, or turn it up where 100% matches perfectly the original unit. And you can also increase this. And it's still a subtle control, by the way. I'll play it for you. All right, then we can switch this left and right difference, and we also have crosstalk. This one is measured in decibel. You can see you can turn it completely off, leave it at 0, which is exactly how the hardware unit is, or increase it. Now we have the fun part. For each of the 4 bands, we have a dynamic EQ, not just dynamic EQ. We can also decide if our processing for this specific band affects the sides on a band-by-band basis. Let's hear this.
People in a sticky situation, it's all over creation. That's why money sing about the moderation. On behalf of all the people down there, so when you suffer, one way ball out to all the living get tougher. Them judgment word them me utter, talk it loud me no stutter. Every morning, big guys wake up to bread and butter, and no give a damn about the picnic in the gutter. Sleep last night with no supper, and all the while the shit steam keep on getting tougher. Me no know how them gone, yo them no care
Okay, so I can decide for each band what portion I want to affect. The mids, the sides, and everything in between. Then, if this wasn't enough, we also have a trance body slider. This is great not only for enhancing, but also as a problem solver in mastering, because now we can decide for each band if I want to affect only the transient portion of the signal or the sustained portion, so the body. Let me give you an example on this rock mix. I'm gonna turn the mid up and move the slider only on the transient portion, so you will hear it will affect the snare.
What's up in the midnight fire? Seems like you're not having fun. I think it's time to turn that music higher. We are the ones that are meant to fall. We are fucked up in the hole. We are the lights to dream of in your night.
Okay, it is so great to have a musical EQ and a harmonic generator with also these functions that allow you to shape and be so precise. Really the best of both worlds. Of course, these two functions, mid-side and trance body, can be used together. So let's say I want to enhance this snare only in the mid, I go like this.
What's up in the midnight fire? Seems like you're not having fun. I think it's time to turn that music.
Only on the sides.
What's up in the midnight fire? Seems like you're not having fun.
In the same way, I can probably grab the guitars if I go body and side.
What's up in the midnight fire? Seems like you're not having fun. I think it's time to turn that music high.
Listen to this. This is crazy. Let me go in a spot where the guitars are.
What's the meaning of the time you wasted? You better say that. What's the reason why you look so bright?
It is so great. Now, so far we use the EQ as is the original unit, but here we can actually change it. At the top of the advanced controls for each band is the frequency and the drive. And the drive for each individual band is gonna be the secret of the harmonic generation, because you can increase or decrease the amount of saturation on a band by band basis. Let me show you what I mean. If I push the saturation, the first thing that is gonna be too much is gonna be the low end.
Let's go, heartbreak motel. There's no day you are the curse of bed. Let's go, heartbreak motel. There's no day.
Right? It gets a little too crunchy because the low end is big on this track. Now what I can do is back off the drive only on the low end.
Let's go, heartbreak motel. There's no day you are the curse of bed. Let's go, heartbreak motel. There's no day you.
That is so freaking cool. You can also adjust the frequency at this point, and you can do this for every single band. So let's do mids.
Let's go, heartbreak motel. There's no day you are the curse of bed. Let's go, heartbreak motel. There's no day you. Heartbreak motel, burn to the ground. Had to do it now so you can come around. Heartbreak motel, burn to the ground. Had to do it now so you.
Wow, the workflow is so smooth. I already knew after 5 minutes that this plugin is gonna end up in all my mixes and masters. But the more I play with it, the more familiar I get. And it's just this flow going from left to right, and then bottom row. And then you have the EQ scale, which if you overdone something a little bit, just back off a little bit. And all the processing backs off. It's so intuitive and well designed. And if that wasn't enough, we have full dynamic EQ with controls for each individual band, threshold and range. And the dynamic EQ can be downward or upward. Not only that, but with this button, You can decide if the dynamic process is going to take place when the signal exceeds the threshold or falls below the threshold. So for example, on this track, I can boost a little bit of the low end. And control the boost that I just did. So with these controls, this plugin becomes also an extremely precise mastering tool, and at the same time, you never lose the creative approach. And you can do tricks like this. For example, I can engage this switch, so the signal, in this case, if I boost the range and go positive, and also affect the body, mostly in the mid, I can enhance the sustain of the bass. Listen to this. On this side of town, you could get lost and never be found. You see this blue ring around the band? Now it goes upward, it goes positive, as opposed to if I do this and control the kick. On this side of town. All right, it's pretty crazy. And of course, we have an extra menu here where you can set the attack, the release, the duration for, of course, the transient body, and the sensitivity. This brings this dynamic EQ to a different level, on par with the most precise dynamic equalizers out there, which are usually clean and surgical. So in this case, I like to have a faster release and maybe a little slower attack. On this side of town, you could get lost and never be found. All right, we can do the same thing with the highs. In this case, when the signal drops below the threshold, I want to increase. I'll increase the body and a little bit on the sides. On this side of town, you could get lost and never be found. This is absolutely mental. The way this plugin sounds is incredible. Of course, we also have low pass filters. On this side of town, you could get lost and high pass filter, extremely musical. To really make this beyond packed with functions, we have these two additional bands which can be set to have really narrow notches if we have an annoying frequency that we want to notch either statically or dynamically, because of course these two bands can also be turned into dynamic bands.
Yeah, peacock and assassin, feel the rush of adrenaline. Yeah, pull back again, pump the right medicine, pick up the veterans. Peacock and assassin, feel the rush of adrenaline. Yeah, pull back again, pump the right medicine, pick up the veterans. You showing up when I'm showing up that meat like Ed Gein, I'm that mean. That beats, I beat the debt with the dead sheep, cold feet like cop killers meeting police. An MC rockin' tree, MMC 365 days.
The same way we can use this to, I don't know, enhance a hi-hat.
Yeah, peacock and assassin, feel the rush of adrenaline. Yeah, pull back again, pump the right medicine, pick up the veterans. Peacock and assassin, feel the rush of adrenaline. Yeah, pull back again, pump the right medicine, pick up the veterans. You showing up when I'm showing up that meat like Ed Gein, I'm that mean. That beats, I beat the debt with the dead sheep, cold feet like cop killers meeting police. An MC rockin' tree, MMC 365 days. My mind sideways, my third eye rocks a triangle. I work a mad angle.
This thing sounds absolutely insane. The color, the low end in the low mid range, this type of saturation is just so musical, and I hate to use the word warmth, but that is exactly how this thing sounds. And the top end is so broad and gentle. With the extra controls, I think Tone Project completely knocked this one out of the park. I want to know what you guys think in the comments down below. The link is going to be in the info box down below. Remember, intro price for the entire month of November. So the full price starts December 1st. So if you want to grab it, do it now. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. If you liked the video, please don't forget to leave a like. Go check out the new website, mixbusstv.com. If you haven't already, all the mix and mastering courses are there. You can book all the services with me. Click the join button, become a member to access the exclusive members only video. If you like the content, please consider using the super thanks or grab some merch. Thank you for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already. Stay safe. See you next time.
Hands on my neck, hands grip my throat. Lift me up, man, take control. Heart is so gone.